Hello, welcome back to our PL SQL tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to extend our discussion on VRA, try to see where VRA fails, and then if there is a better way of resolving what VRA cannot solve. In this particular example, I have created type VRA type ABC, which can contain maximum 10 elements. Alright, then I am declaring a cursor. I am selecting employee number from EMP table. Then I am creating a VRA called V underscore EMP, which is of ABC type. So what essentially I am doing at line number 8, I basically I initialize the VRA called V underscore EMP, and now inside the cursor for loop I am reading one employee number from the EMP table. I am extending my V underscore EMP and assigning the employee number from database to the element. So what happens if this query is going to fetch more than 10 rows? That means if it is going to fetch more than 10 rows, then this for loop is going to be going to loop more than 10 times. Therefore I am trying to extend V underscore EMP more than 10. If I am trying to do that, this is going to fail. The reason that the VRA maximum size can go up to 10. We cannot extend beyond 10. That is wrong. Okay, so therefore this is going to give me an error. However, if I make it 20, it might work. But I do not want to make the size of the array static, or size of the array should not be determined at the design time, because we might have in an employee table we might have 10,000 rows. So are you going to go on and change every time? This is not a good practice. So is there any way that we can define some kind of array where the array can increase, the size of the array can increase dynamically, okay, based on the types of data? See, for example, in this case, if I have 14 rows, then the size of the array will be 14. Okay, so what essentially happens is that, okay, so we discuss PL SQL collection type. So the first one we discuss about VRA, then nested table. Another collection type called nested table essentially gives you that ability to change the size of the array dynamically. So let's see the solution. See the syntax difference. So I declare type ABC is table of number. See, in the first, this line gives you how do you declare a VRA. So whenever you declare a VRA, you basically give here the maximum size. But whereas whenever you declare when you define a nested table, you do not give any size. Okay, that means Oracle is going to dynamically allocate depending on how many number of what kind of data you are putting into those array. Okay, so essentially the basic difference between VRA and nested table is that VRA size is fixed, but nested table size can be changed based on how many number of elements we are entering to that nested table. Okay, so now what I have done, in this example, I created a nested table now, because the type is nested table. So therefore V underscore EMP is a nested table right now, and then at this line number 6 it is pointing to null. However, at line number 9, whenever we initialize the same way that we are doing in VRA, we are going to initialize using the constructor. The default constructor is same name as the type. since the type name is ABC, therefore the default constructor is ABC. Therefore v underscore emp now pointing to some kind of array, where I will do an extension and I will put the employee number. So first time whenever this for loop loops for the first time, so let's say employee number 100 comes into this thing. Then let's say 101, 102, let's say I have 120 employees. So this loop is going to loop for 20 times, and then each time I keep adding one element to my nested table called v underscore emp. Okay, so don't worry about why nested table. This is a name, just, and it is nothing but a variable array. Variable array means, like, the size is determined at the runtime. So in this case, if there is 20 rows fetched by this select statement, then I'm going to have 20 elements in v underscore emp, just like this. Then I'm going to end loop. So after this ending loop, I should have initialize v underscore emp. Okay, so this is how, basically from the syntax point of view, it is just same as VRA, and all the collection methods whatever you learn in VRA is going to be applicable for nested table. And in this case, in this example, we have shown you that I created one nested table of type ABC which can contain number, another nested table called PQR which can contain varchar2. Then I define two variables, v1 and v2. v1 is basically array of numbers, v2 is array of varchars. Then in line number 7 and 8, I initialize 1, 2, 3 and all this thing. Then what I'm trying to do, for I in 1, then v2 dot count means the total number of elements. So here in this case it is 3. Then I'm trying to print at index what is the value. Okay, so this is how I'm going to traverse the array. Similarly, you can also traverse the array by using another collection method called first and last. Okay, so this is the same mechanism by which you can traverse an array, either count or first or last. Here is another example that we do this extend and then add this thing. So this is in a for loop. I am extending. So basically at this time I do not know what is the size of my my nested table, but here inside the for loop the size is 10 to 10, and same way that whatever we extend and then basically populate this v array v3, sorry, this nested table v3 with 1, 2 up to 10. One interesting thing between the v array and nested table is delete. So here what we have done, one is nested table ABC, and then PQR is v array. Then v1 is basically a nested table, v2 is a v array. So in line number 8, what we have done, we have create v1. Since v1 is a nested table, so therefore this is 1, 2 and 3, whereas v2 is v array, so therefore the size is 10. Okay, however we just have stored 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then 7 elements are there. Then if I do v1 delete 1, yes, I can delete. Okay, so since nested table, we can delete a nested table, and then if I delete this v1 1, so this is basically null. But if I give v2 dot delete 1, it will give me an error, because you cannot delete a the first element. You can delete from the last in case of v array, but you cannot delete a first element or a middle element in v array. Okay, so that is going to give you an this statement is going to give you an error. However, if you do v2 dot trim 1, then what you can done, it will trim the last element, last one element. That means this 3 is gone. This is possible. Okay, so here is a pictorial thing about whatever we talked. In case of VRA or array of integers, this thing is fixed bound, fixed upper bound, whereas in case of nested table, this is unbounded. In nested table, whenever you can delete, after a delete, what you do, you just leave it like that. Okay, so what this is called, this is no more densed. So this is basically densed. This can be like, if you do a lot of delete, it can become really sparse. Okay, so this is the another difference between this VRA and nested table. So essentially what you do, whenever you do not know what is the size of your array, then use nested table to store data. Okay, to store the nested table as your temporary array variable, and then you can use all collection method, that whatever you learn in VRA, so that your nested table manipulation will be easier and your application will be easy to maintain. Okay, so like all those count for first, last and all those things is also applicable in nested table. Thank you.